year. Bob Hockenhull reports.
As councillors met to pass a budget of cuts, union leaders and members made their feelings known outside. Not just angry over 2,000 job losses, but also furious about a pay review that could see some workers lose up to £6,000 of their salary. Workers like Steve, a respite carer. At the moment he earns £19,500 a year, but he says he'll lose £4,200 of that because allowances that cover unsociable working will go.
I've worked for the City Council for 5 years, and in that 5 years we're always short on money.
So what will you do?
I'll have to just put up with it. I don't know what I'll do, really.
A strike by bin men earlier this winter has already caused disruption on Birmingham streets. But now the job and salary cuts have been approved, unions are warning there's likely to be further industrial action.
What option have they got but to withdraw their labour through industrial action in hope that the council sees sense?
Do you not accept, though, that everybody's got to make sacrifices during these difficult times?
The government announced that they want fairness. We would see our members making some sacrifices if they saw some senior people within the council making sacrifices. That isn't happening. That is targeting on low-paid workers.
In a speech today, the Prime Minister relaunched his big society idea.
The local authorities do have a choice about how they reduce their budgets. And we are saying to them as vigorously as we can, please, will you make sure you cut your own bureaucracies, you cut your pay, you cut your bureaucracy before you cut voluntary bodies and charities.
Birmingham City Council will save £9.7 million by cutting salaries. It says the move will get rid of allowances that are no longer sustainable. But one industrial relations expert believes the council's left itself open to legal challenges.
The council could be liable either to grievances or to unfair dismissal claims in the courts, or even to indirect discrimination cases.
But the council says it has to cut staff pay if it's to make the books balance. Bob Hockenhull, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Well, we did ask the council for an interview after the budget was set, but they've declined to talk to us at this stage. We are joined, though, by Roger Mackenzie from the union Unison. Thanks for coming to talk to us tonight. Massive challenge for the council, you know, to keep providing core services. And they have to cut salaries, they say. They have to do something.
Well, what they've decided to do is to cut £212 million in the first year. They don't have to do that. That's the fact of the matter. They've decided, political decision, to front-load all the cuts, and
why
it's their decision.
Why is it
well, because I mean, it's been very clear what's been going on with the cuts across the whole country. There's been a clear instruction from government, let's do the cuts early, so that by the time we get to a general election, we'll be in better shape and we can start with tax cuts and all the rest of it.
Don't you think people have to accept that sacrifices need to be made?
Well, people have been making sacrifices.
And it is urgent.
People have been making sacrifices all along. We sometimes have this discussion, Nick, like cuts haven't been taking place in this city and across the country. I mean, of course they have. Cuts have been taking place for some considerable time. The decision that the council's taken here is that they no longer want to deliver public services direct. What they want to do is to commission services, so they want to be contract managers.
Will a strike make it better?
Well, nobody wants to go on strike. Our members certainly don't want to go on strike. But, you know, when people keep hitting you, today they're talking about cutting massive numbers of amounts of allowances from hard-working people who rely on those allowances, telling the refuse collectors that if you don't accept this package at the end of a month, then we'll sack you. When people keep doing those things to you, you're left with no alternative but to find a way of opposing it, and that's what people have got to now. OK,
Roger Mackenzie, thank you.
And some breaking news on more job losses tonight. Auto windscreens, who have a big depot in Aston and Birmingham, have gone into administration, putting the jobs of hundreds of workers in jeopardy. Well, our reporter Nadine Towle is there for us now. So Nadine, what more can you tell us?
Well, Suzanne, I understand it's around 250 people employed at this distribution centre here in Aston in Birmingham affected by today's news. We were told just earlier this afternoon that the administrators, Deloitte, had been called in here. Now, they today have issued a statement which says, regrettably, due to the administration of the company, all operations have been temporarily suspended. That's bad news for the workforce here. They've been sent home today and told to stop working.
Does sound bad news, isn't it? But do we know what's tipped the balance, Nadine?
Well, we understand, Suzanne, that the company had been experiencing a turnover of around £63 million a year, and it had been leading its own recovery plan. So it had been working to improve the situation, but that unfortunately went downhill because of the delayed of an implementation of an IT scheme. Then the final straw, I think, was that a major contract went down the pan. A major company pulled out from auto windscreens, and the company unfortunately was left with no other alternative. They've said no job loss so far, but there's more than 200 people in very serious jeopardy of losing their jobs this evening.
OK, Nadine, thanks very much for that. We're going to, of course, keep you updated with the situation there. Well, still to come.